The future of Call of Duty multiplayer and even soon zombies is soon among us. Activision recently filed a patent for an infinite length multiplayer game mode. This new game mode, entitled Unbounded Gameplay Session, or UGS for short, a placeholder, would run continuously until all players have left the game, provided at least one player is still in the game. This concept, while seemingly nothing more than a quirky idea similar to those never-ending TF2 lobbies from back in the day, potentially has very large implications when considering the scope of DMZ and Outbreak. I'm sure many of you have played DMZ and Outbreak before, but just filling you in for those who haven't really played those modes much, DMZ and Outbreak are semi-open world game modes in Call of Duty, a first for the franchise. Outbreak is zombies turned into an open world, objective-based experience where players explore and accomplish missions at their own pace, and the game ends when players choose to exfil, are downed, or fail an objective. DMZ is an open world battle royale game mode where players can explore, take on AI strongholds or bosses, or even other players in PvP skirmishes with other squads. It is a game mode focused on looting and exploration, and then trying to escape with the loot you have acquired. The idea behind UGS is that it would be a multiplayer mode that would never end. This technology has been in development for some time, with references to it dating back to 2015, and the patent application itself being filed in July 2022. The patent document outlines the background of the invention, as well as all the technical information, diagrams and case studies related to it. For this technology to be patented, they must feel as though this technology is both unique and are confident enough in its viability they do not want it stolen. Both of these point towards the usage of this technology being likely, although Activision file patents all of the time and not all of them end up being actually implemented in game. But like I said, they are at least working on it, and the technology has been in development for some time. There are references in the patent to matchmaking algorithms, auto-balancing mechanics, loadout features and scoring elements, which all point to the UGS concept being deployed in a Call of Duty setting. However, there is no information on how or when Activision will implement this technology, but looking at the current state of Call of Duty and some recent job postings, we can get an idea. The potential of this unbounded gameplay session, UGS, could also change the way Call of Duty as a franchise is received. As the franchise has evolved over the years, it has gained a reputation for its fast-paced multiplayer modes and its highly competitive nature. With the implementation of UGS, Call of Duty could now cater to players who prefer more casual, relaxed experiences akin to Outbreak in Black Ops Cold War. This opens up a new market for Call of Duty and could see the franchise gain a new level of popularity among those who were previously put off by the intensity of the multiplayer, and give those who enjoy it a new playground to show off their skills. I feel like currently gaming is moving away from the smaller, more encased multiplayer experiences to larger maps and semi-open world experiences. Trek actually recently hosted a job listing which is for a senior level designer for Warzone, and the description reads: do you walk into a space and immediately imagine how it would play in a video game? Do you find yourself thinking of ways to make the space better? How could you improve it to make it an engaging player experience? So do we. Trek is looking for a talented level designer to join their Warzone team. As a senior level designer, you will work on production content for Call of Duty Warzone, Outbreak and other large map experiences. If you are excited about building realistic, well-crafted maps that will be enjoyed by millions of Call of Duty fans across the world, then come join our team. So basically, Trek are working on a brand new Warzone map, and this will probably launch when Call of Duty 2024 launches, which is rumored to be when Trek's next game releases, which will apparently get a full 2 years of post-launch content. And it's good to see that Trek may actually be making a unique Warzone map this time, and this will be the first time they fully take over Warzone, and it seems like Outbreak will be returning as well. So there's a big chance that the second iteration of Outbreak might be played on this new Warzone map that they're working on. The job specifically calls for a senior level designer who will construct production content for Warzone, Outbreak and other large map experiences, likely DMZ. This posting seemingly confirms that we will see the return of Outbreak and another large map style experience in Trek's next title. Could we expect to see a Trek take on DMZ? Either way, these large multiplayer modes like Warzone and DMZ that take Call of Duty into the Battle Royale stage are likely to continue for the foreseeable future. However, it does seem like right now the Battle Royale trend that has blown up over the past 4 or 5 years, with almost every single shooter game having a Battle Royale side now, well, that hype is finally on the decline, but I think that Call of Duty and other franchises are going to want to try something different and still be kind of similar to those Battle Royale experiences on large maps maps, but different takes on them, like we've seen with DMZ. With many fans not being keen on Outbreak and Black Ops Cold War and just wanting round-based maps, with many loving it also, it was very dividing in the community. Whether you loved or disliked the first iteration of Outbreak, it doesn't really matter because it's here to stay, whilst round-based maps aren't going away either. Open world zombies will take the game mode to new heights, and it is clearly the future of the mode, greatly expanding its potential, as long as they don't abandon their roots. There's just so much more room for innovating with an open world, always live format, and whilst the first iteration of Outbreak wasn't really true open world and seemed a bit bare bones, especially on launch, there is so much room for innovation with Trek's second attempt, especially if this time it may be free to play and a part of Warzone 2 using better hardware with the Modern Warfare engine, allowing for more zombies on the map, larger maps, and just a lot more things to do. Additionally, the same could be said for multiplayer. It seems like ever since Warzone released, 6v6 multiplayer is slowly becoming abandoned, with it receiving less and less content, as is apparent with Modern Warfare 2. Clearly, they want to move to open world akin, always live multiplayer experiences. DMZ is simply touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what they likely have planned, and they are trying to get in on the extract game type on the ground floor. This is what I was saying earlier. With Battle Royale now on the decline, they're trying to expand and make more immersive Call of Duty open world-esque like experiences, and DMZ and Outbreak are just scratching the surface. There have always been rumors of an entirely open world Call of Duty circulating for some time now, before something like this would seem impossible with the old hardware, but with implementation using UGS, an always online open world Call of Duty akin to something like GTA Online feels like a genuine possibility for the future. For the last few games we have seen Call of Duty continuously dip its toes into open world content, starting with stuff like Blackout, Warzone, and Modern Warfare 2019 Spec Ops. We've recently seen a deeper dive with modes like Outbreak and DMZ. This development mindset does not seem to be changing either, as Call of Duty's open world modes have seen extreme success. Outbreak's free weekend in Black Ops Cold War made for the most players online as zombies had ever seen according to developers, with a lot of fans coming over from Warzone to check it out, since Outbreak essentially bridges the gap between Warzone and zombies. And the developers also followed this up with the fact that at Cold War's player peak, the zombie numbers were split pretty much 50-50 between Outbreak and round-based, with no other side mode in zombies history reaching near the popularity. It is very likely that open world zombies is here to stay, and that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Even if you disliked Outbreak, it's very clear that it was successful, and that's even with Outbreak having a lot of flaws and having a lot of room for innovation. So whether you like the first iteration or not, it's clear that this is the direction that zombies needs to move in the future, whilst round-based shouldn't go anywhere either. If they can manage to sustain round-based and also open world zombies, the two can work simultaneously to get zombies' maximum potential. And like I said, even if you didn't like the first version, since there is a lot of room for innovation, it's very well possible that in a future iteration, it even makes a lot of the haters of the original fall in love with the new version. Anyways, before I continue with the rest of the discussion, I just have an awesome message to share with you. Real quick before we continue, this isn't sponsored, but I just wanted to let you know that the kind people at Bloader recently sent me one of their custom-made PS5 controllers, and it feels so great. Get ready to level up your gaming experience with the Besavior Elite controller design for PlayStation 5. With its ergonomic design and responsive buttons, you'll have the precision and control you need to dominate the competition. The textured grip ensures comfort even during marathon gaming sessions, and the customizable buttons let you tailor your controller to your personal style. You can check it out via the link below, as it's a great price compared to some other similar custom controllers on the market and higher quality. But why exactly is this patterns coming up now, and what makes it so interesting when you consider DMZ on it? This new game mode could change the way we play multiplayer games, allowing players to drop in and out on the fly, and keeping the game running indefinitely. This could turn large DMZ servers into what is essentially a mini COD MMO. Squads of players can drop in and out of games of DMZ in progress, interacting with different objectives as well as each other. This school of design could lead towards DMZ becoming this player-driven content haven. If one squad has had enough, they can exfil from the game and open up 4 slots for more players to join. This could even extend to Outbreak, infinite, never-ending open lobbies that players are able to drop in and out of at their own will. While Outbreak would require heavy systems reworking to truly take advantage of this system, DMZ's large player cap and open world map and objectives would make for an excellent use of this unending game mode. Additionally, the UGS technology could allow for a much more dynamic and ever-changing gaming experience as players come and go from the game, affecting the balance of play and altering the outcome of each match. This could lead to a more strategic and engaging experience for players, as they must constantly adapt to new opponents and changing circumstances. Another benefit of the UGS technology is the potential for a much more social experience, with players being able to drop in and out at their will. It would be easier for friends to play together, as they can join in and out of the game as they please. The ability to switch out players could also lead to a much more organized and coordinated experience, as players work together to achieve objectives and complete missions. Combining this with the new addition of adding players in the lobby to your squad, and you have the potential for a huge hub of social interaction within Call of Duty, essentially World War II's headquarters system, but with an actual game to play. And what's more is that clearly Call of Duty and all games moving forward are trying to move to a system where you're pretty much always online and you're always playing, and probably in the future all games will move to a play to earn kind of system. Whether you hate this idea or not, I feel like it's the inevitable outcome within the next 20 years or so. So moving to these modes always being online and you being able to jump in and out, it makes sense that they'll use this to utilize microtransactions. You'll be able to show off and buy microtransactions non-stop, and then you could also earn real currency in the game. I think this is probably going to be the thing that Activision are going to be trying to implement into a system like this. I don't think anytime particularly soon within the next 5 years, but definitely when we're talking about 20 years or so, something like this is probably going to end up happening. Like I said, there's a lot of worries regarding if this does happen. It is a very scary thought, but I feel like it's very much inevitable. In the future, as most jobs are consumed by AI, I feel like everyone's going to be forced to be constantly engaged on games or being a creator or something like that. Some weird Black Mirror type stuff. And the only way something like this could ever work is if the modes are always online and they feel like a real life experience, especially once virtual reality becomes a lot more expansive and realistic. The line between real life and in the game will become very blurred. In conclusion, the patent filed by Activision for an infinite length multiplayer game mode is an exciting development in the world of video games in general, but particularly so for Call of Duty's open world Battle Royale modes. With a traditional Battle Royale where one person wins and the game ends may not work for a UGS server, the interesting infill to loot to exfil dynamic of DMZ and player driven interactions lay the perfect groundwork for what is essentially World War II's headquarters system, but now as a mode with things to do and people to fight. You can turn a DMZ server into a giant social hub for COD squads to meet up and fight to work together, and even opens up the possibility of Fortnite style live events. Live events are something Zombies players have asked for many years, and the recent switch of Zombies to always being on dedicated servers would certainly make using a UGS for a live event much more possible. And of course we've seen live events, well, they've not really been true live events in Warzone, but like I said, they've never really been true live events because they've just been playlists that you can jump into within an hour interval or something like that, and that's because the Call of Duty technology just isn't suited for proper live events. But if they implement this UGS technology, then it will be. The unlimited length of the game could allow for intricate and elaborate events with players participating from all over the world. The potential for cross-promotions and brand partnerships is also immense, with crossovers like concerts now open to Call of Duty. It's hard to say for sure what this means for the future of Call of Duty, especially when we're talking about time frames, whether we're talking about 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. I feel like Call of Duty is here to stay for a very long time though, since it's been on top for 20 years now. But the most likely thing to expect to come from this is some sort of infinite length DMZ lobby in the future, so players can simply drop in and out at their will. But do you have a different option on what this technology could be used for, or an idea they probably haven't come up with yet? So let me know in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not ready for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.